Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's disc review, we are taking a look at the PA-5 Prodigy discs. Let's go ahead and begin this review video by taking a look at the profile of the PA-5. Now overall it is a little bit of a slimmer, more shallow profile putter. It has a flat flight plate, even in the premium plastic, as well as the baseline. Does have that very blunt nose, and as you see, the 400 versus the 300, the 400 stands just a little bit taller in that premium plastic, a little bit higher of a shoulder, while the 300 is just a tick slimmer, giving it just a little bit more of a shallow feel, which I definitely prefer when it comes to putting. So I like the fact that the baseline is a little bit shallower. Premium, again, just gives a little bit of a deeper feel, but still overall feels pretty shallow. Now let's go ahead, take a look at the flight, starting with the flight numbers. PA-5 is an understable putter, speed 3, glide 4, turn -2, and a fade of 0.5. Now, an issue I've always had with building my bag is trying to find an understable throwing putter, and wow, the PA-5, it definitely is understable. When I throw it, rip into it on a hyzer, a steep hyzer, you can see it doesn't hold the hyzer. It flips up to flat, gets even still a little bit of turn before it then hyzers out just as it stalls, and when thrown on a slight hyzer, it hyzer flips up and keeps turning and barely gets any fight back whatsoever. Even when I take some power off and throw it at about 60% power, you can see it doesn't hold an arcing hyzer. It still flips up to flat, and then just as it stalls, it hyzers out. And then once you do start throwing it flat, about 30-40 feet out of my hand, it begins to turn and holds it the whole way. Even when powering down, it just holds straight maybe about 30-40 feet further before it gets into that anhyzer angle and holds the turn the whole way. But you know what? Sometimes you just need a disc like this, because you saw for that standstill, if you're playing the woods and you're up against something, you need a disc that you can throw when you're constricted in your movements and have no run up, that you can trust is going to still net you a lot of distance. And with this being so understable, you can get it on those standstills to flip up flat, hold relatively straight, depending if you get your arm speed and angle control right with it. Might get a little bit of a gentle meandering or panning turn before then just as it slows down, it might just kind of come straight flat down, or it might just have the slightest of baby hyzers, again depending on the angle of release and the arm speed. But overall, that makes the PA-5 perfect if you play a lot in the woods, because you can get it to hold those turnovers extremely easily. So whether you're doing standstills or run-ups with a slower arm speed, the PA-5 is a great workhorse of a putter in your bag for those densely wooded courses. But enough of seeing the flight in a wide open field, let's head out to the course. This shot, you want something that's going to hold very straight before just a subtle fade for a lefty at the end of the flight. I'm going to throw the PA-5 with a bit of hyzer, knowing it's going to flip up to flat, hold again that straight line because it wasn't thrown too hard, and then just the babiest of hyzers back. This is kind of more showing when you throw it on hyzer uphill, and if you really rip into it, you're going to get it to flip up to flat, and even with the uphill, you're going to get that meandering, gentle bit of turn before then at the end of the flight, it will try to fight its way out. And if you do put it with just a little bit of nose up, you can really get it to hold beautiful lines. Throwing it out a little nose up, taking advantage of that turn to match the fairway, and since it was thrown nose up, it's not going to fully turn over, it just has that baby hyzer back. This, you want to take advantage of the understability as a lefty in order to get that beautiful turnover shot. Just maybe start it on a little bit of an anhyzer and just watch it anhyzer all the way down, so you just got to make sure that you throw it with the right height. Now for the different plastic types, and boy, the PA-5 comes in a lot of different plastics. I apologize, I only had the 400 and the 300, but it comes in a wide variety of plastics, so whether you're looking for premium, base, soft, stiff, you can find the PA-5 that works best for you. But when it comes to the 300 plastic out of the box, it's very similar to the premium 400 series. However, it beats into this anhyzer holding machine very quickly. So we've seen the PA-5 as a thrower, but how about for putting? This is one of the straightest putting putters that I tried out in 2024. This thing was just so incredibly straight, regardless if I'm in the circle, outside the circle, just put it on the pole and it is going to go incredibly straight. It really doesn't have much of a dump at the end, so I didn't have to worry about any kind of dump on those longer putts, and it has great glide, so you can take advantage of that and hit putts from distances you didn't think you could do. So normally for the Lefty lines, I would show you how the different plastic types compare, but since I only had just the two, I decided instead of that to show you how the PA-5 compared to other understable putters out on the market. We have first up the Fierce, which I did throw that quite a bit higher than the PA-5, so it did have a little bit of a chance to fight back, but you can see they held pretty similar flight patterns as they both kind of started to turn over at about the same point and held those turns for almost the same amount of time, versus you have the Spin from MVP, which I feel is the more understable of this grouping. It is also the most awkward feeling putter in the hand, as I really don't like the extremely blunt feel and deepness of the Spin. While the Fierce has a good flight to it, but again, it just feels a little bit off for me. The PA-5 is like the perfect understable putter. It has enough understability to work with what I want it to do, but it has that slim profile, very, very comfortable feel. So overall, this is my recommendation if you are looking for an understable putter out in the market. This is, I think, one of the best ones out there. I know Prodigy gets a bad rap in the 2024-2025 offseason, has not been kind to them. However, they make good discs if you're willing to look at them, and the PA-5 is one of the best that they make, particularly for beginners. Well, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Be sure to smash that like button, and be sure to visit GreatLakesDisc.com for your disc buying needs. I thank you all greatly so much for all the support. Until the next one, keep banging chains.